Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Was Sealed Because He Was Too Powerful, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below than usual as he partook in the usual D-rank missions that Genin teams like Team 7 got. While part of him knew that this was truly necessary at this point in time, seeing as how the village was getting over the damage incurred during the invasion of Oto and Suna, the part of him that was locked away at the age of 8 that was used to missions that could end with him being killed, and the brash childish part of him that resurfaced after his memory had been sealed and longed for missions with potential for action like that. With the knowledge of his sealing, Naruto was able to sort out what memories were fake and which were his own. It helped that the genjutsu seal that was placed on him to change his appearance was broken, revealing the numerous battle scars that littered his body from his time in NE. It really helped having a visible association to certain memories. His first night in his apartment after the invasion was for the most part spent in front of a mirror repeating the line, "Oh, I remember getting that one," over and over throughout the evening. Over the course of the next 2 weeks he had to adjust to just being a normal genin with a true elite's mindset. Tora was lucky that she hadn't tried to run away since the invasion, or Naruto might have killed her, retrieving her, accidentally of course. His rapport with his team, whatever he might have had, shifted tumultuously after the Chunin exams. Naruto's thoughts on Sakura had changed to a clearer line of thought. The girl thought he was useless for the most part, and while compared to how he was supposed to be she was right, it stood to reason that even grossly handicapped as he had still been vastly superior to her when it came to the ninja arts. While he may have been a goofy annoyance while he had been a genin, he had still been nothing but pleasant to the girl and had given his all at every corner. Her habit of fawning over the Uchiha and downplaying anything Naruto accomplished grated on his nerves at this point. Naruto ruthlessly crushed his mental facilities that she was a good person, and that he had romantic interest in her because when it came to him she was a bitch. She was his teammate, that didn't really mean they had to be close, he just had to tolerate her and work with her to accomplish his mission. He didn't see anything pleasant about trying to associate with her outside of missions. Sasuke had taken to the habit of staring at him and trying to verbally provoke him when he offered any input into their missions. Sasuke had been feeling inadequate after seeing how Naruto not only saved him from Gaara, he had dispatched Gaara handily without too much effort, captured the Kazekige's children swiftly thereafter, and headed back to Konoha and routed an Oto ambush against a Konoha squadron. This led to now. He had been trying to goad Naruto into a fight so that he could really test his own capacities against the blonde, but not only was there no time for sparring as they didn't have team training while rebuilding the village, Naruto left so quickly after the day's work was done that Sasuke couldn't follow him, and he was never able to trail the boy for too long before losing him. Kakashi had noticed quite a few changes in his blonde student since he had let him go during the invasion. While the scar over his eye was the most glaring one, his attitude was another. He didn't try to keep his team's spirits up with indomitable brightness. He still cracked jokes, and his overall timing was vastly superior now, Kakashi had to admit, but they were bright flashes in an otherwise dreary day of rooting through Konoha's rubble. Naruto no longer took to calling him Kakashi-sensei. When he reprimanded Naruto on this habit he had seemingly picked up, Naruto responded by saying that he hadn't taught Naruto anything other than tree climbing, and he technically learned how to do that years ago, he just forgot. Kakashi noted the bitter tone in Naruto's voice when he said, "Forgot," but didn't press too much. He figured that Naruto was still bitter from being cast aside during the Chunin exams. The differences in Naruto's gait, actions on missions, and how he now treated his teammates showed him that there was a vast change in Naruto that he couldn't pinpoint exactly. He watched Naruto drop another stack of wood by the building that his team was working on at the moment, and walk off again to grab more. There was something he was missing about this. Team 7 had been dismissed for the day and Naruto had taken to wandering around Konoha. He had taken to treating the villagers with the same apathy and looks of annoyance that they gave him. He didn't care about them, he was in a bad enough mood as it was. He had been unable to find Danzo since the invasion ended. In his haste to track his trainer down and report back to him, as he technically never failed or completed his mission, he had found that the older base for NE had been abandoned. Cursing the old cripple out in his head, he realized just how difficult it truly was to find Danzo when he didn't already know where he would be. You'd think there would only be so many places that you could hide a group like NE in this village. Naruto understood things from both sides of the fence. He understood how Sarutobi disliked a secret branch of the military that he didn't directly control running rampant under his nose. It wasn't good for a supposed military dictatorship, as Konoha was supposed to be, to have something like that among them. It was unnerving to say the very least. But Naruto knew that if he truly knew that honestly, Danzo only had around 20-25 well-trained ninja, including himself. Compared to Konoha's forces, it was simply a drop in the bucket. And while Konoha's true forces had a never-ending supply of recruits and potential, only certain types ever had a chance in NE, and they weren't readily replaceable. NE took Konoha's dirty missions. The jobs that somebody had to do, the kind of stuff that stepped on people's toes on the large scale of things, but if they never took place then it would expose Konoha's back to the lions. The killings that Konoha couldn't be caught having any hand in, the alliances that could substantially benefit Konoha but that had less than moral basis. There was a reason that the seemingly most powerful village in the nations didn't have too many problems regularly compared to the others. Sarutobi directly chose not to accept certain missions for the sake that they could be seen as an aggressive move on Konoha's part. Danzo took these missions for NE. NE had to be better than the majority of other ninjas simply for the sheer difficulty that their missions entailed. There were no D-rank missions, hell there weren't even any C-rank missions. Everything you did in NE was B-rank and up. If you weren't ready then you trained and drilled until you were, no other way about it. If you couldn't cut it after all of the things you were put through until that point then you died, namelessly, facelessly, and miles away from home. He needed to find Danzo. He knew that the second he actually put on Konoha's Hittite he was basically no longer Ne's shinobi, but he still had the mindset of completing his mission. He also wanted to find out exactly what the hell happened to him. If anyone knew, Danzo did. His thoughts then drifted to the mission he had been tasked with as he clenched his fists, his emotional nature spilling out. If only he had gotten back sooner, if only he hadn't stuck around for so long, if only somebody didn't get a wild hair in their ass and sabotage Otogaku's information department with explosives. If only all of those things hadn't happened then he would have been able to return and send word on Oto's plans. He had found everything. He found that it was being run by Orochimaru. He found that they had a then-rookie Konoha genin, Kabuto Yakushi, as his lead spy. He found that Orochimaru had finished his immortality jutsu, he'd even had the misfortune of seeing it being performed, he couldn't eat for the rest of the week afterwards. He even knew Orochimaru's main ambition for coming, and when he saw the markings on Sasuke during the fight with Gaara he mentally kicked a pothole into his ass. Naruto's eyes panned around the village as he walked, all of the people taking part in the restoration of their homes. If he had broken the seal on himself even a day sooner, how much loss of life could have been diverted? How many lives need not have been lost? Could the Sandaime have been able to take the proper precautions to acutely prepare for Orochimaru accordingly? He looked up at the Hokage monument as his thoughts drifted to the third face from the left. He had gotten much closer to the old man after he had been sealed. His mind had almost reverted back to its 4-year-old state and he reached out to the only person he really knew. Even trying to bury his emotions, he still felt a faint sting at his eyes that he had to push back. He had to put his thoughts on the back burner for now, as he saw Jiraiya leaning against a fence looking at him. Naruto strode up to his side and spoke coolly, "So what do you need from a lowly little genin like me, Ero-sennin?" Jiraiya pushed himself off of the wall, "I want you to come with me to find someone." Naruto raised his eyebrow, "Aren't you the Hokage now?" Jiraiya let out a short laugh, "Those old goats wanted me to take up the spot, but I have too much on my plate to just do so like that." Naruto headed past him towards his apartment, "Then I'm not going. I'm not some escort or bodyguard, I'm a shinobi. If this isn't an order for my higher-ups then I'm not volunteering for this. I can spend my time better by helping to rebuild, getting back to my old level of skill, and finding out who put those goddamn seals on me." Jiraiya caught up with him quickly and placed a hand on his shoulder, "Well, the other genin can help rebuild. And I was going to teach you a jutsu that makes Chidori look like child's play. And those seals, I might know something about that." Naruto looked at him, "Okay, you've got me on the rebuilding. And did you hear what I said? I need to get back to my old skill level, I don't need a jutsu, I have enough of those, I just can't use them right now. I need to get back to my old speed and strength first and foremost. I felt weak like an infant and moved like a snail during the invasion." Naruto's eyes shone as he absorbed the last of what Jiraiya said, and you're damn right you know something about my seals. You're telling me whether I choose to go or not. You're just lucky that it would probably be easier to just go with you, that and I'm bored around here. Jiraiya grinned at him. Well, let's go and get you packed. We'll leave immediately. Naruto pulled out 4 scrolls. I already have everything here. I always keep supplies for a long mission on me at all times, you never know when you'll get called away. He placed them back into the pockets of his jacket. This big, bright piece of crap is good for something, I suppose. Jiraiya laughed loudly. If you hate it, then why wear it? Naruto's eye twitched. When I went home after the battle to look for clothes, this was the closest thing to shinobi gear I had in my closet. What the hell did they do to me? I wouldn't be caught dead in this. How did I live for as long as I did wearing this eyesore? Jiraiya laughed again, getting his chuckles out of seeing the boy tear himself down. Jiraiya reached into his pocket and placed some bills in Naruto's hand. I'll tell you what, Gaki. I'll give you 2 hours to go and get yourself outfitted. Meet me at the main gate then and we'll take off. Naruto let a smile cross his face as he turned to head back towards the market district. He waved back at Jiraiya and pocketed the cash. Naruto wandered through the market district looking around. While the Naruto that had become a genin would simply enter a shop and hope he didn't get ripped off, this Naruto was sick of being broke all of the time and was running through his head all of the shinobi shops that had done it to him. That place did it, that place did it, that place won't even let me in to do it. Naruto had gotten his tools from old scavenging habits. It amazed him how many tools were wasted by ninja just during training even back when he was little. He cultivated his pack rat habit back when he was first being trained by Danzo, storing all of the usable things he could find for himself as a sort of surplus and handing the broken and unusable stuff to Nee's armory to be melted down and remade. Apparently he continued that little habit when he had been sealed as well, because he still had tons of weapons sitting inside one of his closets in the apartment. Naruto stopped at a rather plain-looking shop, and having no memory of ever being in there, he opted to give it a shot. Tenten yawned as she sat at the counter of the weapons shop her family owned. She wasn't having a good overall month. She had gotten destroyed in the preliminary rounds of the Chunin exam by that Suna Kunoiki Temari and was forced out of contention. She had decided to help her teammate Neji train for the final exam for the month in between tests and had even gone to the competition to watch him mop up the competition. Things don't always work out like that, huh? She then had to watch him be utterly beaten by the unassuming blonde kid that was on the same team as the Uchiha, the dead last of the class under hers. He cut down his Juken and not only got up from Neji's best techniques and shrugged them off, he reopened his Tenketsu after they had been sealed off. He even had enough strength afterwards to run around the stadium in celebration after he won. Then she ended up being put under a genjutsu that engulfed the stadium and missed the invasion of Oto and Suna. After the invasion was over, she spent more time at her family's shop, seeing as her sensei was spending a lot of time at the hospital with her green-clad teammate Rock Lee due to his grievous injuries, but it wasn't busy, seeing as how there weren't a lot of ninja that needed to stock up for missions, as they were helping with the reconstruction, so here she sat, bored. Yep, not a good month overall, one could say. The bell to the store rang, signifying a potential customer. Hello, welcome to. As Tenten's eyes drifted to the door, she saw the very same blonde kid that had beaten her teammate looking around her shop. Hey. Naruto turned to face her curiously. Realization spread over his face. Oh, hi there. Tenten, right. As she looked at his inquisitive face, she noted the scar sitting over his right eye. Huh, that's new. She pointed out at him accusingly. You're the kid that beat Neji. The tone of her voice stated it like he had committed some kind of crime. Naruto tilted his eyebrow. My name is Naruto, and don't look so shocked. Was I supposed to let him win or something? Tenten was taken aback by his calm answer. She was conditioned from seeing him throughout the exams to expect a loud, hot-headed response. It's not that, it's just that you really weren't expected to win then. Damn idiot persona, it just had to wreck his standing in the eyes of the many. Oh well, he liked to be surprising anyway. Naruto sighed, and that is why you have to learn to expect the worst in most cases, because then you can only be pleasantly surprised. Naruto remembered Danzo or other elder NE operatives saying that to him a lot back in the day, then they would usually hit him or something. Stupid emotional conditioning. Tenten noticed the scar over his eye and found herself curious. How did you get that scar? Did you get it during the invasion? Naruto waved off her question. It's a long story that I'm not even sure of and that you wouldn't believe if I told you. Don't worry about it. Do you sell shinobi clothes here? She nodded and pointed over in the correct direction. Naruto thanked her and went on over. Tenten watched silently as he walked over to the clothing section of her store and rifled through the selection. Apparently he was getting rid of that sense-offending jumpsuit on his back. He nodded as he pulled out a set of shirts and a few pairs of pants. He went into a changing room and came out a moment later in a dark blue muscle shirt and dark blue loose pants tied at the ankles with wraps. He set the extras on the counter and went back into the accessories section and grabbed some black braces that wrapped around his forearm entirely. As he walked back to the counter, he stopped as he came across the swords. He stared long and hard for a moment until he pulled down and ninjato and unsheathed it, looking it over and testing the balance before shrugging and walking back to the counter with a grin. He set the sword down and looked up. Do you have something to secure this on my back? Tenten nodded and reached down behind the counter to grab a strap for him to use. So how much is all of this? He seemingly gave her a appraising look as she tallied it up. Tenten looked over what he bought and looked at him. That will all come to 68,500 ryo. Tenten watched him switch moods apparently as he cringed jokingly and pull out his wallet and money he had in his pocket. He brightened up after hearing the price of his new equipment. Naruto chuckled as he gave her the necessary funds. This'll clean me out, but it's necessary. He strapped on the sword and placed the braces on his forearms. Tenten watched him finish outfitting himself and huffed. Do you even know how to use that sword on your back? Naruto shifted the ninjato into a comfortable position on his back. I'm an old hand at it. It's time for me to get back into practice with kenjutsu. I was no slouch, I should say. I might be rusty if anything. Naruto quickly drew his sword for a few test slashes and shifted through a few regulation ANBU stances before resheathing it. I think I'll be fine. Tenten's eyes gleamed for a second. You wouldn't happen to be interested in a spar, would you? Naruto smiled. Yeah, sure, why not? I don't have anyone to practice with anyway. I have to leave right now, thought. I might look you up when I get back. Tenten smiled at him as he moved towards the door. I think I'd like that, Naruto. Naruto stopped at the door and turned around. I left the jumpsuit in the back. Feel free to burn it at your leisure, like on your break or something. I still have a closet full of them to get rid of. Bye, Tenten. Tenten waved goodbye as he left the store. She furrowed her brow in thought. How can a guy change like that in 2 weeks? Jiraiya noticed a familiar mop of blonde hair heading towards the main gate. As he got closer, he whistled at Naruto's appearance, looking dapper kid. Naruto looked up at him and grinned. It's easier to get girls if you don't blind them when they look at you. Jiraiya patted him on the back as they began walking through the gate. Well said, Gaki. As they walked on, Naruto eventually sighed and looked up at Jiraiya through half-lidded eyes. All right, we're far enough from Konoha that if I don't like what you have to say, I can kill you and no one can stop me. Tell me what you know about my seal. Jiraiya tried to be funny. Well, the Shiki Fujin is meant to hold back the Kyuubi. Naruto gripped his sword as he glared at him. Don't be an ass about this, I'm serious. What happened to me? Jiraiya sighed. Okay, but if I tell you this, then you have to wait until I'm through explaining before you try to gut me, deal? Naruto kept up his glare but nodded. Jiraiya began. All right, you know your little trip to Tano Kuni. I'm the one that found you. I was there too, investigating rumors on Otogaku. When I left, I decided to torch their files. Stuff on Orochimaru's bloodline research, jutsu development, things like that. Naruto's eyes widened. He unsheathed his sword and took a swing at Jiraiya in anger, forcing the man to jump back. Hey brat. I said wait until I was done. Naruto pointed at him angrily. You dumb old bastard. You were the one that turned the heat onto me. Don't you know the first thing about infiltration? Never let the enemy know you were there. Jiraiya rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Hey, in my defense, I didn't know you were there. Naruto growled menacingly. That was the whole point. Jiraiya got back on track as Naruto sheathed his sword. Anyway, when I got you back, me and Sarutobi-sensei found that you were a part of a group of ninja led by a man high up in Konoha's politics. Naruto nodded. Yeah, led by Danzo. Jiraiya pulled a double take to look at Naruto. You're admitting it exists. Wait, you're talking about it? Naruto sighed. Yes, Ero Senin. I swear, I kept telling Danzo it was the second worst kept secret, almost as bad as me being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. The fact that Sarutobi Gigi and you both knew about it proved that. And Danzo never put any seals on me. I was too much of a high-profile figure to make into a mindless drone. I mean, at first he tried, but he quit after a while. Jiraiya looked at him oddly. Wait, so you always had your sense of self? You weren't a mindless drone. He just trained you. Naruto looked up at the man. Yeah. And anyway, I couldn't tell you anything currently relevant about any, even if I wanted to anyway, seeing as how I haven't been there in 4 years. The old cripple probably cut his losses and let me go. It's all he could have done. Trying to get me back and break the seal might have been too risky. Jiraiya looked down. We never had to seal him. He's right. As long as we kept a tight watch on him, he couldn't have gone back to Danzo. Jiraiya gulped. So about the sealing, listen Naruto, when me and Sarutobi-sensei sealed you, we thought you. Naruto's blue eyes snapped up at Jiraiya's face. You and Sarutobi-sensei. You and the old man were the ones that sealed me. Naruto didn't wait for a response. You asshole. You could have waited for me to wake up and explain what was going on to both of you. Instead you left me with the mindset of a 4-year-old. I was mentally behind everybody else by 4 years. Jiraiya already knew that they had messed up back when they first sealed him, but it still sucked to have it thrown back at him. We didn't know what you would do when you woke up. We didn't know how you would react. We were just running damage control as quickly as we could. Naruto shook his head angrily. There was no damage control to run. All this time, I'm a shadow of my former self. My chakra control is shit. I have a fraction of the speed I used to have. Why? I still trained hard even after I was sealed. I should have kept that speed. Jiraiya rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. I kind of put a gravity seal on you too, sorry. I knew it. I knew I couldn't have been that slow naturally. Kami, I felt like I was wading in jelly. Naruto undid his hitai to reveal his forehead. Take the seal off, damn it. Jiraiya made a few hand seals and placed his hand on Naruto's head. Fuan Kai. A glyph of a seal appeared and faded from Naruto's head. He tested his body's functions with some short motions. Okay. I feel better now. Jiraiya felt the need to keep explaining. Naruto just kept walking. I don't want to hear any more right now. I don't think I can take much more of this story before I feel the need to hurt you. You guys almost killed my career, you know that. Come on, let's get to a town. Jiraiya and Naruto had gotten a hotel for the night in a town not far off. Upon arriving, Jiraiya had gone off gallivanting after some woman who showed a little interest in him. This suited Naruto just fine, as he didn't really want to be around Jiraiya at the moment anyway. Naruto took himself up to their room and laid down on one of the beds. He had a whole new set of things to think about. Was Hiruzen close to him only because he had gotten out from under his watch once, or was it truly legitimate? When he showed up at the ceremony for Konoha's fallen ninja the day after the invasion, he had gone up to the Sandimes Memorial and he didn't know what to feel. He shed not one tear. His head was jumbled enough at the time. He was still sorting through his mind to figure out what was factual and what was fabrication. He shook his head free of that thought, putting his training under Danzo into use. He was a ninja, and while it was seemingly a simple mission, it was still a mission, and he needed a clear mind to go through it successfully. Naruto felt a pair of powerful presences coming closer to his door. They were hiding their chakra levels, but it was noticeable that they were considerably strong. Now the side of him that had been out and about for the last 4 years wanted to confront them, see what they wanted, and, if necessary, kick their asses. Unfortunately for that line of thought, rational Naruto was in control at the moment. He darted out of bed and leapt out of the window to find Jiraiya. Fighting two opponents that were potentially overwhelming in strength for no reason didn't really appeal to him after just starting to get himself back into fighting condition. He knew they wanted him for some kind of unpleasantness, because in Naruto's life experiences for the most part new meetings equaled lots of pain and trouble. Naruto dashed along the rooftops until he reached the outskirts of town. Naruto bit his thumb and summoned a toad. Not even giving it time to speak, Naruto belted out an order. Go find Jiraiya. Tell him to find me as fast as he freaking can or I'm screwed, okay? The toad nodded and ran back into town to find Jiraiya. Naruto sighed and turned around slowly. I know you're there. Come out already, save us all some time here. Two figures in black cloaks with red clouds appeared, both donning straw hats. Naruto sighed at the sight of the familiar red eye signifying Sharingan. Of course it would be a guy like Itachi Uchiha after me. The other figure chuckled and removed his hat to reveal a blue-haired, blue-skinned man. It looks like you're still famous in that village of yours, Itachi. Naruto smacked his forehead, and Kisame Hoshigaki, what a fantastic day, the hits just keep on coming. He set himself into a ready stance. Who else do we have coming? You guys happen to have another S-rank cameo coming from the woodwork. Kisame scoffed at the sight of Naruto's small frame. Who knew the Kyuubi Jinchuriki would be such a runt? Itachi, should I cut off one of his legs to make sure he can't run away again? Itachi stepped forward, red eyes spinning. Please come with us, Naruto-kun. Naruto sighed and brought his hands together. Kai. Come on now. I'm a kid, but don't insult me like that. I'm not that easy to yoke into oppression, you know. Kisame reached for the sword on his back. Itachi, this kid is mouthy. Let me handle him. Samehada can just taste his chakra from here. Itachi stared at Naruto, unblinking. Very well. Don't go overboard and kill him. Leader Sama needs the Jinchuriki alive. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Two powerful guys like this want me alive. They won't fight to kill, they can't. But I don't have that kind of restriction here. And all I have to do is wait for Rasengan to show up. Even if the toad I sent is slow or can't find him, once the fight starts it shouldn't take him too long to get here. Naruto drew his ninjato and in the blink of an eye was at Kisame's throat, who had brought Samehada down to parry his blade. You're pretty fast, Gaki. Naruto pushed with his sword. I used to be faster. He felt Kisame pushing him back and grunted. Used to be stronger too. Kisame brought down his massive weapon on Naruto's shoulder and pulled back, slicing deeply into his shoulder, before kicking the boy off. Naruto picked himself up off the ground. Ugh, I seriously need to whip my ass back into shape. Fucking seal, this ain't gonna cut it. Kisame grinned maniacally as he rushed Naruto and swung at him with his sword. Naruto ducked low and swiped at Kisame's feet. In response, Kisame uncorked a kick at the ducking Naruto's head. Naruto saw it coming and rolled out of the way. Man, I'm glad Rasengan had the common sense to at least take the stupid gravity seal off of me. I'd be dead meat otherwise. Naruto sheathed his sword back into the scabbard on his back, going blade to blade with one on the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Label me the idiot of the day. Itachi walked a few steps up. You're better than our intel anticipated, Naruto-kun. It was said that you were a dead last genin level shinobi. You've shown much surprising skill. Naruto huffed as he ignored the dripping wound spanning his shoulder. Yeah. Well, there's no such thing as perfect intel. Indeed, Itachi removed his own hat to look at Naruto. This battle is unnecessary, Naruto-kun. Just come with us, you cannot defeat us both at your current level. Naruto glared at the rogue Uchiha and the shark-like Kisame. They're right, I couldn't beat these two like this, if they were here to kill me. And I don't even have to win, all I have to do is last long enough for some help. Naruto smiled as he felt his wound begin to pulse with a familiar sensation. Apparently breaking the seal inspired the Kyuubi to stay awake more often again. Good. Now if only he had found the time to set up his old arrangements with the powerful Kitsune, then he could just have Kyuubi help him rampage on their asses and be done with it. There was time to think about that later, he had a tall order ahead of him here. Kisame and Itachi covered each other's weaknesses extremely well. What Kisame lacked in long-range ninjutsu, potent genjutsu, and tactical finesse and patience, Itachi more than made up for. Vice versa for Itachi and his close-range skills. Naruto didn't think he could win in close with Itachi anyway. That damnable Sharingan would give away his every move, unless. Itachi walked ahead and called Kisame back. Kisame, I would like to test Naruto-kun for a bit. Stay back for a moment. Naruto would have grinned from ear to ear if it wouldn't have looked so suspicious. Itachi and Kisame both think he's weak. Itachi will probably let the genin in close to humor him. That's where he would get his chance. He needed to abandon all logical reason and just flow. The only way to bypass the Sharingan was to simply move faster than the body could adjust to. As if that would work on someone like Itachi. However, if Itachi could anticipate his movements, then what would happen if even Naruto didn't know what he would do next? It would be a pain to try, fighting his own muscle memory and his own instincts just to attempt a new strategy on the fly. Ugh, sounds like something his jumpsuit-wearing self would try. But then again, why the fuck not? Even an idiot can come up with some masterful gems of ideas every once in a while, right? Naruto ran in and ducked looking to jump when in range of Itachi, but as he crouched spontaneous inspiration came to him. Instead of jumping high as he had crouched to do, he tumbled forward and rolled through. This random act got him inside of Itachi's guard. Now what? As he saw Itachi move his arms to react to any action he could take from this point in a split second, Naruto once again listened to the most random thing he could think of. He tilted his head up and spit directly in Itachi Uchiha's face. Now at this time, if he wasn't, 1. Already in a fight that he knew wasn't going to be pleasant if it dragged out, and that's if he actually believed he had a snowball's chance in hell of actually winning said fight in the first place. 2. Flying by the seat of his pants too fast to take into account what he was actually doing, after all if he wasn't a bloody mess on the ground yet that had to count for something right. And 3. Primarily trained to not show any emotion or feeling in combat against any enemy, even if pressed with insurmountable odds, and Itachi Uchiha was damn insurmountable for a handicapped former NE operative 4 years out of the game. If it weren't for all of that, then he might have had the logical inclination to shit his pants when he saw that Lugi make contact right on Itachi's left brow. And it worked too, because from the look on Itachi's face he damn sure never saw that as a viable option against him in the middle of a fight. Itachi froze in place, giving his diminutive adversary the opportunity to launch a vicious jumping snap kick to the side of his head, sending him flying back to his partner. The combination of seeing a 12-year-old kid spit into Itachi fucking Uchiha's face, and then seeing said kid dropkick Itachi Uchiha back 15 yards left Kisam's jaw quite slacked. Kisam pointed dumbly at Itachi as he watched him rise to his feet. Itachi, you've got a little something, right there. Kisam felt a shiver go down his spine as Itachi sent his Sharingan glare on his as he wiped his dripping brow. You got it. The adrenaline from Naruto's little improv session wore off as he got distance and waited for Itachi's response. Naruto attempted a little denial therapy. Maybe he isn't as pissed as I thought. He's a former ANBU, those guys get bodily fluids on 'em all the time. A little spit didn't even faze that guy. Itachi turning a downright murderous look at him, spinning Sharingan enhanced of course, perished the thought that he was getting out of this alive without missing some important body parts. Being the highly trained professional he had been raised to be in his formulative years, Naruto prayed to the skies above for even the slightest diversion. Anything that could tear Itachi's attention away from him for even a moment would be a gift from Kami herself. Itachi Uchiha. Naruto turned to find Sasuke standing shortly away, eyes are fixed on his older brother. You've told me to live my life with hatred in order to get strong enough to kill you. Well, that day has come. If he wasn't such a highly trained warrior and if he wasn't in the middle of a serious, high-tension situation, Naruto could have broken down and cried in sweet, sweet relief. Those two reasons, combined, were the only reasons he didn't. Naruto knew there was no I in team. But sorry Sasuke, someone had to take one for the team today. And on this day, Naruto was more than willing to spell team with an I. Naruto slumped against a tree and sat down as he saw Jiraiya talking to Maito Guy, with Sasuke over his shoulder. Itachi had really done a number on that kid and Naruto knew it was mostly his fault, but defended himself with the fact that Sasuke either didn't notice or didn't care that Itachi was in such a pissy mood. And what kind of genin tries to stay and fight Itachi Uchiha by choice? Itachi looked pissed off when he beat Sasuke too. Naruto called his bad on that. Naruto had gotten his ass saved by Sasuke's assistance, and he knew it. It had given Jiraiya enough time to find him and drive the Nuke Nin duo off before they could refocus on him. Thank goodness the old sage could back up all of that posturing with skill. Gaki, come over here. Naruto stood and walked over to Jiraiya and Guy. While he was pissed off at Jiraiya, he had to admit, without his timely interference he would have gotten turned into hamburger. Guy gave Naruto a blinding smile as he got close. Yosh Naruto-kun, you have certainly shown yourself to be quite flushed with the power of youth today. Holding off those two like you did. Naruto looked at Guy strangely. Thanks Guy-san. I was useless though. They could have killed me whenever they wanted, they needed me alive. Guy shook his head, smile still in place, and you are alive, are you not? And that means you have another day to get stronger. Another day to prepare yourself and make sure this doesn't happen again. Naruto smiled faintly. You're right. I need to worry about getting ready for the next time something like this happens. Naruto clenched his fists. There's no way that guys like that are going to get the drop on me ever again. Guy shifted Sasuke on his shoulders. Well, I do hope that you two are successful in your mission. We could use her expertise for more than just Sasuke-kun here. Kakashi got hit as well. Naruto looked at Guy. Kakashi made eye contact. Guy nodded and began reaching for something on his person. Jiraiya grabbed Naruto by his shoulder. We should go, kid. We'll lose the trail if we stay after all of this. Naruto grunted as Jiraiya pulled him away. Later, Guy-san. Tell Rock Lee and Tenten I said hi. Guy gave him a thumbs up and a smile in return before turning to blaze a trail back to Konoha. Naruto noticed Jiraiya was hurrying him away. Why are you pulling me so fast, Ero-senin? Jiraiya looked down and back out at the road ahead. He was going to give you one of those god-awful jumpsuits, kid. There was no way I was letting you go back to such horrendous clothing after you just started looking decent. Naruto scoffed and slapped Jiraiya's hand off of his shoulder. Don't touch me. You aren't off of the hook yet. You and the old man screwed me over. I'm a joke in Konoha these days because of what you guys did. Itachi and Kisame treated me like a piece of crap back there, and while it helped keep me alive and out of their hands, it was insulting. Naruto grumbled as he stomped down the road. I've got at least 2 S-rank Nukenin after me and I'm a sitting duck if they decide to get serious on me. We seriously need to finish this mission so I can work on getting back up to snuff. Jiraiya shook his head as they traversed the roads. Naruto had calmed down over the course of the next few days. He was still incredibly testy due to still not finding any time to train himself properly. Jiraiya tried to placate him by saying he had proven himself to be far stronger than a genin should be. Naruto countered by blankly stating that he wasn't supposed to be at genin, he was ANBU level at 8. Jiraiya didn't like Naruto fretting over his skill level like this, but then he remembered what he met Naruto doing, infiltrating an unknown country. When he saw Naruto again at the hot springs years later, he was rather underwhelmed. After taking the Gogyo Fuan off of Naruto and watching him immediately stand on water, he wasn't surprised. He figured he subconsciously knew how to do it already. What had been done to him was a damn shame, and he had every right to be angry. Years of blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, not so much tears if he was trained by Danzo, but everything else, all of that was spent to give him his strength, and to have a considerable amount of it ripped away by the folly of a pair of old men. Jiraiya knew he would be in an uproar about it too if it were him. And he knew Naruto had all the reason to worry about it. He had just been attacked by 2 of the most infamous ninja actively listed in the bingo book, and only sheer folly on their part and raw luck and hard-nosed skill from his got him out of it. His teammate had been injured in the fracas as well. Jiraiya looked at the boy who was practicing running through hand signs quickly. Hey kid, don't worry about your teammate, he'll be fine. Naruto stopped working on his hand signs and looked at Jiraiya. Oh, that. Meh, it'll be good for him. A little beating every once in a while builds character. Naruto shrugged when Jiraiya stared in shock at his nonchalant attitude. What? It's how I was trained. Getting your ass kicked makes you really want to avoid getting your ass kicked again, so you do what you can to improve. It's good for him. Huh. Well, yeah, that does make sense. Jiraiya nodded in agreement to Naruto's logic. All right then, let's go find Tsunade. Naruto almost stumbled. Tsunade. As in your old teammate, best damn medic ninja ever, gambles like shit, Tsunade. Jiraiya chuckled at his description of her. Yeah, that's the one, kid. Though, I think you should refrain from using that last one in front of her unless you want to end up a smear on a wall. Jiraiya pulled out a picture of her and handed it to Naruto. Were to find her and bring her back to the village. Naruto put the picture in one of his pockets and kept up with making hand signs that looked like a blur. Jiraiya saw him resume his task. Hey kid, how about I give you that jutsu now? I guarantee you don't know it, and it could be useful to you. You can even train with it while walking like you are right now. Naruto thought for a moment. Sure, why not? It's not like I can go out of my way to handle any other kind of training while we're out here. Jiraiya grinned. Good choice, kid. I promise you won't regret it. We'll start when I can get the necessary supplies. Naruto and Jiraiya came upon a town where a festival was taking place. Jiraiya suggested he take this time to relax and they would pick up with the search soon while he would go and get some information on where she was. Naruto agreed and ditched Jiraiya before the latter could try and mooch off of his money. Naruto spent a few hours going through the town, cheating in partaking in some games and winning some prizes, getting a bite to eat. He had to admit, he may have lost a step or two in battle, but he was having more fun now than he would have been having in any if he was still one of them. That was one thing he had inherited from his old self and learned to love since he broke the seal, the value of a good time. He eventually got worried about the white-haired pervert he had been taking company with and set out to find him. It didn't take long for him to hear his rather distinctive laugh booming from a nearby tavern. Naruto entered to find Jiraiya with alcoholic beverage in hand and pleasurable company on both sides, one of which was hanging off of him. Hey, Naruto. Come over here and take a load off. Naruto shrugged and walked over, sitting down to the woman on Jiraiya's left, a brunette with hair going down her back. So Jiraiya-sama, who's the little cutie here with you? Naruto raised his eyebrow. Cutie. Yeah right, I can't get a girl in Konoha to even so much as look at me with anything less than a sneer when I speak to them. Naruto let out a bitter chuckle that was missed by everyone else. Jiraiya grinned. This is my student Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, say hello to Tokoko and Sukina. Naruto waved and let out a small hello. Tokoko, the girl he had been sitting next to that wasn't on Jiraiya, leaned on him, wrapping her arms around his neck. Naruto figured she must have been around 5 years older than him. He's so cute, Jiraiya-sama. He heard the girl let out a gasp as she touched the scar on his face. How did you get something like this? You're so young. Naruto shrugged. Life is hard, it's just a scar. It's nothing important, just a reminder to duck next time. He was a good sport about it as he let her trace the mark over his eye. Naruto and Jiraiya stayed and talked with the women until a few hours after nightfall. Naruto had refrained from drinking the entire time, letting Jiraiya get his fill for now. He knew the man would pay for it in the morning. Naruto waited until Jiraiya was blackout drunk, which took way longer than Naruto figured it should have been. What the hell was his alcohol-to-blood ratio? Kami bid goodbye to the women they were with and proceeded to haul Jiraiya out of the bar towards an inn for the night. As he got a certain distance down the road, Jiraiya seemingly got a second wind and rose from Naruto's shoulders. Wow, you are strong, Gaki. That was quite a ways to haul dead weight like me. Naruto looked up at Jiraiya, who had seemingly shrugged off the effects of an entire day's worth of binge drinking. You should be laying face up choking on puke right now. How in the hell are you even standing straight? Jiraiya smirked at the boy as he continued looking for a place to stay. I'm no lightweight kid. Naruto deadpanned a look at him, saying that he didn't drink a lightweight's share, while soon it would have dropped hours ago. I'm just that good. I'm surprised you didn't drag me out or call me an old perv or something. Naruto sighed. I'm not adverse to enjoying myself, and those women were hot. Besides, you said we were relaxing today. Even a brainless ceiling asshole like you needs to rest, and that's obviously how you take the edge off, so why should I have interrupted you? Jiraiya chuckled. You sure are different these days, Gaki. I think Tokoko liked you. That damn scar is going to get you all sorts of pity sex when you get older. Naruto snorted. It's just because she doesn't know who I am. If we were in Konoha, I'd have been shoved to the back burner there, and you know it. Jiraiya hummed in response. Maybe you should get your head off of that pink-haired girl then. There are plenty of other women that won't try to give you brain damage. He expected him to start ranting about how he'd never betray Sakura-chan, or how she was just complicated or something. What Naruto said made him almost fall in the street. Huh, so true. Well, you were the one who did it. Jiraiya looked over at the calm expression on his face. What? Naruto looked at him with a cocked brow, hiding his slight glare. The first thing I thought of her when I had time to think about my team again was what the hell was my other self smoking to think she was any good for me? My dumbass, childish self was the one that was attracted to her, therefore it's your fault. However, I don't interact with any other girls, my age or otherwise, not before you sealed me, and sure as hell not after. They all got used to the me that was terrible at everything. Naruto looked up at the moon. All the kunoiki my age all think I suck, or they can't stand me. All of the civilians fawn all over Uchiha team, or are too weak to be able to put up with my life, and the ones that don't, all hate me anyway. I think Danzo might have been onto something when he told me to get rid of my emotions, because knowing you'll never get laid out of love kind of sucks, Ero Senin. Naruto scratched his chin in thought. Jiraiya flinched as he noted how calmly he had just said that he would never find anyone to be with. No one should just accept that kind of thing as a fact of their life. Naruto left Jiraiya with one more thought for the night. That Tokiko girl was pretty cute though. As they had woken up the next day and headed out on the road, Jiraiya tossed Naruto a water balloon. Naruto looked up at him blankly. What the hell is this? It's not that hot Rasengan. You're a grown man. Jiraiya held out another in his own hand. The jutsu you're learning has 3 steps. The first one is to pop that balloon with just the rotation of your chakra. Naruto yawned. Aha, well, does this mystery jutsu have a name, or will I have the pleasure of doing that? Jiraiya held out his other hand as a rapidly spinning blue ball of chakra formed in it. Naruto noticed the speed and the size of the jutsu compared to the massive amount of chakra rolling inside of it. Jiraiya smirked as he saw Naruto's eyes affixed to the ball. It's called Rasengan. It was one of the Yondaime Hokage's prized jutsu. Naruto nodded. Whoa, Jiraiya let the jutsu fade. Indeed, now let's. He was cut off as the sound of water splashing rang out. He turned to see Naruto shaking his hand and picking pieces of rubber off of it. Jiraiya held out his balloon. Do that again. Naruto grabbed the balloon from his and popped it like clockwork. Jiraiya had to rub his eyes. What? How? Naruto shook more water off of his hands as he kept walking forward. I saw that the jutsu had chakra flowing in all directions. I just did that to the balloon and pop. Jiraiya shook his head. A genin shouldn't have gotten something like that so quickly. A tick mark on Naruto's head appeared. Yeah, well, I'm not supposed to be a genin either. I'm supposed to be a ANBU, remember? Noticing a detail like that is amateur hour stuff. Naruto looked at him expectantly. What's the next step? Jiraiya dumbly held out a rubber ball. Pop this with your chakra. It should be the most difficult step. It has to do with just power. Blam. Naruto's hand snapped to his ears as the rubber ball exploded in his hand. Damn it, why was that so loud? Jiraiya almost had a seizure out in the open road. How did you get it that time? Generating a consistent amount of power like that takes time. Naruto dug into his ear, and I have what's sealed inside of me again. I've been dealing with powerful chakra since I was little, my own naturally got stronger. Danzo had me spamming high-level jutsu all over the place by the time I was 8. Jiraiya opened his mouth but nothing came out. I'll show you the final step later. I need to find something new to start you on. What about your elemental affinity? Wind, and I have several jutsu for that element, I just need to relearn the big ones again. Naruto walked along with a bored expression on his face. Where is Tsunade, damn it? Did you find out anything in that town we were in? Jiraiya ceased his thoughts on Naruto's training and answered, I did actually. She was heading up towards the edge of the country. She'll probably wind up in Tanzaku-gai, so that's where we're going. Naruto grunted. Tell me the third step so I'm not wasting time on the way. If I can't get my conditioning in, then I'll have to work with this jutsu until we get somewhere where I can actually work on it. Jiraiya sighed and blew up a balloon. The next step is to mix the first 2 steps in this balloon. Naruto looked at the balloon in Jiraiya's hand. So what am I doing? Jiraiya lifted his other hand and formed a Rasengan for Naruto to see. Naruto opened his mouth, forming an O in recognition. So I'm doing that, just inside the balloon instead, right? So I can get the spatial composition down. Jiraiya nodded. It took me 2 months just to get this far. It hasn't even been an hour yet for him. Kid, what were you like before you were sealed? Thinking about something like that terrifies me. Naruto attempted Jiraiya's instructions. Jiraiya actually breathed a sigh of relief when Naruto's balloon popped. If the kid got Rasengan in 1 day, then he would have had a fit. Naruto received the pack of balloons from Jiraiya and took out another to blow up. Well, it looks like this will keep me busy for a while. What happened here? Jiraiya and Naruto looked at what used to be the famous castle of Tanzaku-gai. It was nothing but rubble at this point. Jiraiya and Naruto walked over to the scene and looked around. While Naruto kicked at the rubble under his feet, Jiraiya noticed holes in the wall nearby, a sign of his wayward teammate. Jiraiya jerked Naruto by his arm to lead him away. Come on, kid, we're close, very close. After searching the town all day, they stopped at a tavern for a little meal before retiring for the night. Jiraiya stopped as he walked inside. Tsunade. A blonde woman with a jewel-looking mark on her forehead looked up in shock. Jiraiya. What are you doing here? Jiraiya and Naruto walked over to her table where there was a black-haired woman holding a small pig. Well, we just stopped here for a bite to eat. Imagine meeting you here of all places. Naruto took a seat alongside Jiraiya and looked out at the 2 women. Tsunade, so this is the last of the Sannin. Looks like I've met the full set. Lucky me. Tsunde's eyes drifted over to him. So who's the brat, Jiraiya? Naruto's eye twitched. Yep, lucky, lucky, lucky. Jiraiya looked at Naruto, who was wearing an unreadable expression, minus the twitching. This is Naruto Uzumaki, my new apprentice. Naruto's eyebrows shot up. Apprentice? Since when? Jiraiya smirked at the boy. Since you signed the Toad contract before the invasion, kid. Congratulations. Naruto grumbled and placed his face on his hands. Great, the guy that locked away my strength and skill wants to make amends and teach me how to fight again. Jiraiya looked confused. Kid, don't you want me to do that? Naruto slammed his palms on the table. I'll tell you what I want. I want to go home so I can get my shit together and get strong again. I want to yell at you and beat you to a pulp. I want something or someone to cling to, because I think I'm starting to lose it with all of the shit running through my mind. Naruto was standing now, but I can't have those things, not for a bunch of reasons. I can work on one of those things now though. Naruto pointed at Tsunade. We're going back to Konoha. Time to go home. Tsunade was stunned silent by the sheer fact that some kid just ordered her to do something of that magnitude, and he didn't even blink. Jiraiya palmed his forehead. Smooth kid, really subtle stuff there. Naruto glared at Jiraiya. You can shut up too. I'm still pissed at you, damn it. Jiraiya groaned. When won't you be pissed at me? Naruto smirked. When I can do everything I used to be able to do and then some. Naruto looked back at Tsunade. So let's go. Come on. Tsunade flipped the table over angrily. Who the hell do you think you are, runt? Where do you think you can get off telling me to go back to that place? Naruto didn't bat an eye. I think I'm the unfortunate bastard tasked with dragging your sorry alcoholic ass home, and I don't fail missions. Naruto kicked his chair backwards. You can come with us, or I can beat your ass and drag you back myself. Tsunade pointed to the door and stomped outside. Naruto followed briskly. Jiraiya groaned as he stood to leave as well. Come on, Shizune. Someone needs to sweep the kid's remains off the street after Tsunade is done with him. Naruto stood across from Tsunade in the middle of the street. He looked around. You know this really isn't the place for something like this, unless you like paying for property damage. But don't you have enough debts? Shut up and get ready to face the music, you brat. Tsunade lifted her index finger. One finger. That's all I need for a runt like you. Naruto smirked. I thought I was rusty after 4 years. Well, when was the last time she was even in a fight? Sometimes life cracks a window for you. Well, she just opened the goddamn front door for me. Jiraiya and Shizune walked out. Tsunade, let it go. We can talk about this. Tsunade glared over at Jiraiya. Shut up, Jiraiya. He has this coming. Brats like this need to know their place. Naruto glared over at Jiraiya also. Yeah, shut up, Ero Sennin. Old ladies like this need to learn how to deal with their problems before they turn old and gray instead of just running away. Tsunade growled at Naruto. Give me your best shot, brat. You won't get another one. Naruto's eyes went cold as his face went blank. If I do this right, then one shot is all I'll really need. His eyes narrowed. You'd better hope I miss. A slight shiver went down Jiraiya's spine as he saw the look in Naruto's eyes. Tsunade. You might want to use more than. Tsunade snapped at him again. I said shut up, Jiraiya. Naruto kept his stone-cold eyes leveled on her. Looks like the crabby old lady needs an attitude adjustment, yelling at her old friends like that. Tsunade had enough of Naruto's mouth and charged at him. Naruto's body tensed as he counted the steps until she was in range. Shouldn't a Sannin be faster than this? I guess she really is rusty. Tsunade attempted a backhand swipe but Naruto swatted it away, leaving her guard wide open. Tsunade was shocked as Naruto moved far faster than she expected a kid his age to be able to, ending up with him sinking a fist into her ribs. Jiraiya had to let a small smile come on his face as he saw Shizune's jaw drop. Shizune's grip on the pet pig, Tun almost squashed the poor thing as he saw a child get the first shot on Tsunade in a fight. Jiraiya-sama, how can that genin land a blow like that on Tsunade-sama? He hit first. Jiraiya shook his head. Just because he's a genin doesn't mean he has to fight like a genin, does it? Tsunade ran green glowing hands over her torso and glared at Naruto, who had simply reset himself in his stance, so you can move with some quickness. You're still a brat. I still only need one finger. She won't even acknowledge when someone is a threat. This is going to work out better than the fight with Itachi. Naruto formed a cross seal and formed several cage bunshin. You got disoriented by just one of me, how are you going to handle 8? Scatter. Naruto's clones blurred around the street, looking more like an angry hive of bees rather than a group of boys. Tsunade's eyes kept themselves on all possible threats. She ended up blocking a few preemptive strikes with just one finger, per her boast, and kept looking for a prime target to hit. The sounds of something swirling made Tsunade turn her head to see Naruto forming a blue ball that Tsunade could label from a mile away. Realizing just how damaging that move could be, she chopped at the ground with her finger, disrupting his footing and forcing him to break the attack and fall down. Tsunade looked over at Jiraiya. Jiraiya, what were you thinking? Teaching a kid like this that kind of jutsu? Jiraiya wasn't even looking at her. He was looking in another direction with a grin on his face. Hey Naruto. Don't embarrass her badly, kid, she's supposed to be our next Hokage. Naruto strode out of the darkness of a nearby alley holding something in his hands. He had a dumbstruck look on his face. Really? Her? Are you sure? Because for all intents and purposes I just killed her. Tsunade watched as the Naruto in front of her burst into smoke and was about to ask what he meant. All of a sudden she felt a draft around her chest and looked down to see her gray kimono blouse open and fluttering in the breeze. Shizune looked mortified at the sight of her master's busty glory out for all the world to see. She was thankful solely for the fact that the street was clear. Naruto smirked in a mean-spirited fashion as he slung her obi around like a rope. I think you're missing something there. His eyes widened as he actually got a decent look at her. Whoa, good on you though. Bravo. Jiraiya ran up to Naruto and shook his hand with stars in his eyes. Kid, that was amazing. You're my hero. Jiraiya dropped to the ground and bowed down. I'm not worthy to train you, kid. You should be training me. Tsunade's senses came back online as she proverbially saw red and rushed over to Naruto, hitting him dead on and sending him flying into the front wall of a nearby building, utterly turning it to rubble. Jiraiya and Shizune ran over to where he had landed as Tsunade held her clothing shut with her hands. Amazingly, they found him still conscious, but not in any condition to get back up. As Shizune started running a diagnostic jutsu on him, he coughed up some blood. Cough, I win. Tsunade stormed over and ripped her obi from his grasp, reapplying it. What do mean? Look at you, brat. You're a mess. Naruto grinned, showing her bloody teeth in his smile. You still used more than one finger to beat me. You lose. Naruto shakily picked himself up off of the ground, shocking all who witnessed it. Now playtime is over. Time to go back to Konoha already. Tsunade sneered at him. Why would I? Why should I? I already said I'm not going. That place has taken too much from me. It isn't getting my life too. She turned to leave. Shizune. Come on. The brat is fine, we're leaving. Jiraiya stood in front of her path to leave. Tsunade. Like I said, the elders have chosen you as our next Hokage. Now that we've caught you, we're not just going to let you vanish again. We'll stay on you until you decide to come along. Tsunade scoffed and turned away, looking out at the road. She saw the marking from the attempted Rasengan and looked back with a devious smirk. All right, since you won't just leave, how about we have a little wager? She walked over to the injured Naruto. That move you tried to use on me back there. You know it was once used by the Yondaime Hokage. If you can master that move in 1 week, then I'll give you the necklace I'm wearing and I'll return with you to Konoha. If you fail, then you'll give me all of your money and give up the mission. Naruto looked at the necklace and back up at her. Deal. 1 week. I'll learn how to perform the Rasengan in 1 week or we'll go home without you. Tsunade had a victorious look on her face and turned to leave, Shizune in tow. Naruto got Jiraiya to help him walk down the street as they went to get their own hotel room. Are you going to be alright, Gaki? Naruto's teeth were gritted as he tried his hardest to stay upright with Jiraiya's assistance. Yeah. I just need to sleep it off for the time being, I'll be fine in the morning. I'm okay. Jiraiya rolled his eyes as they hobbled down the street. You know, I kind of wasn't kidding back there, kid. You're my hero today. That sight you gave me, absolutely glorious. I've wanted to see that again for over 15 years and I finally have. The best part, I didn't even get beaten up for it this time. Jiraiya finished with a lecherous grin on his face. Naruto sweet-dropped. That's great, Ero Sennin. Glad I could help, I guess. The next day Naruto was awakened from his deep slumber by a knock at his door. Lumbering over to the door, he opened it to find Shizune. Shizune-san. What is it? She came inside and looked him over, noting the fact that he was shirtless and had scars littering his body. Are you sure you're okay from last night? Tsunade-sama has liquidated men using less force than she used on you. Naruto sat on his bed and stretched. I'm fine, I've had worse. So what do you need? I need to go train for this bet already. Shizune rubbed her arm awkwardly. That's what I want to talk to you about. I don't want you to think of Tsunade-sama as a bad person, she's just bitter. Naruto nodded, because her brother and lover were killed during wartime. I know. Shizune's eyes widened in shock. How do you know that? Naruto shrugged. The guy that trained me made me learn all kinds of stuff about Konoha's famous ninja. Shizune looked at him strangely. The academy in Konoha sure goes over some classified things these days. Naruto chuckled darkly. No, they don't. I didn't learn that in the academy. I learned things of that nature elsewhere. Shizune recovered admirably. Well, if you know that, then you must know that that necklace is cursed. It will kill anyone who wears it other than Tsunade-sama. Naruto stood up and walked towards the door. Well, then I guess I'm next. Because I'm winning this little bet of ours, so tell her to get all of her affairs in order and get ready to go back to Konoha. I'll see you later, Shizune-san. Naruto left Shizune sitting in the room as he left the hotel entirely. Naruto made his way to the outskirts of the town where he found Jiraiya sitting against a tree waiting for him. He had a smirk on his face. Kid, you must have the biggest set on you. You made a bet like that with Tsunade. Naruto smirked at him. Well, I have a week to train my body back up to normal. It won't be even a drop in the bucket to what I need, but free time is free time. Jiraiya looked at him strangely. Kid, you need to work on the Rasengan and win this bet. You can wait to do everything else right now, finish the jutsu and then do everything else. Naruto looked at him mischievously. Oh, you mean this Rasengan? Naruto formed the perfect blue ball in his hand and pushed it against the tree Jiraiya was sitting against, forcing it to explode in a shower of bark and wood chips. Jiraiya looked at him stunned. You finished it. Naruto grinned widely. Deception is just another tool of the game. When I fought her last night, I used it as a distraction. I just needed to get her attention so my clone didn't really focus on the attack. I can do the Rasengan, but showing her that I could last night would have done no good. She would have just made another, impossible, bet that I would have had to actually work at. Jiraiya was still confused. Well, why didn't you just show her last night? Naruto gave him a dry look. Ero-sen and I was seeing sextuple last night. She gave me a concussion. I still feel my head pounding even today. There was no way I could focus to show her the finished product last night after the bet was made. Naruto stretched out as he prepared to work. I'll just milk this for the week of training I can get in and show her on the last day. I don't have to tell you to watch her, you know she's a flight risk. Jiraiya looked at Naruto seriously. Yeah. There's a good chance Orochimaru is here as well. Naruto stopped stretching to look up at Jiraiya. Really? Well, then that's all the more reason for me to get to work now, isn't it? Jiraiya turned to head back to town with a grin on his face. Damn, brat is going to be stronger than all of us one of these days. Over the course of the next week, Naruto threw himself into training as hard as he could. Regaining intense control of his chakra was his primary concern. He trained in this facet by way of mass kunai balancing. He attempted to reacquaint himself with the movements of swordplay once more, but until he could get in some decent sparring, there was only so much he could remember. He still needed weights to get his speed up, and he figured his strength was alright for now. Not being able to activate his true levels for years did a number on his muscles. Contrary to popular belief, gravity seals aren't really a form of training. The seal weighs you down by connecting to your chakra and manipulating how much you would be able to pump to your muscles, decreasing the greatest amounts that you attempt to generate. Depending on the nature of the seal, it could seal away any percentage of your maximum. The difficulty and obscurity of the seal gave rise to the rumors of it being used as a training method. Jiraiya had been using the seal in combat for decades since he had discovered its uses. When Jiraiya came across a powerful or dangerous ninja that he didn't necessarily want to kill, he would sometimes place the seal on them to make sure they couldn't challenge him again. Most of them, however, never realized this and went the rest of their careers lagging in their physical skills unknowingly until they were later killed in battle. Naruto had to sigh in relief when he realized that Jiraiya had placed something like that on him. Who knows what may have happened if he had kept it on. With dangerous ninja after me and me lacking the ability to get faster or stronger, I would have been a dead man. At least he still had enough speed to deem manageable against most opponents for now anyway. He found that he was as fast as Rock Lee with his ways off. Naruto chuckled when he thought of the boy, now that would be a hell of a spar. He then realized that Lee had been crippled by Gaara during the exams, and that stoked his resolve further that Tsunade wasn't going to get out of this bet with him. If anyone can help Lee get better, it's her. Just another reason to drag her back, kicking and screaming if I have to. Naruto rubbed his hands together as he felt a familiar presence at the edge of the woods. Okay, kill two birds with one stone. Train this jutsu of mine and rattle her with my training. Serves her right for trying to spy. Naruto made a mass of hand signs and drew his hands apart as wind whipped around them. He turned to a boulder and thrusted out his fists pushed together at the thumb and index finger. Fuyuten, Fujin Seiken, wind release, divine fist of the wind god. A fierce wind pushed from his fists and impacted hard against the boulder, leaving the imprint of his two fists the size of his entire body. Naruto smirked as he felt Tsunade leave the area of her hiding. All right. Finally, one down, 8 more to go. I'm getting all of my jutsu back. Just wait till I bust out the big ones. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.